Yo, what's going on, guys? Shout out my boy Michael Scott at Hoops Hype. You guys know I work at Hoops Hype. He, scooped up this news. Caleb Houstan signing with the Atlanta Hawks. Spent the last couple of years with the Orlando Magic. 3 years there, 168 games. He averaged 14.5 minutes, 4 points, 1.5 rebounds a game. This past year, basically, he's been someone who's not really, he's been at the bottom of the rotation and playing about 50 or so games a year. This past year, 58, year before that, 59. 51, started 23 games so far in his career. And he's a guy who shoots 3 3-pointers a night, about 37% for the career, 40% this past season, 42% from the field this past year at 3.3 field goal attempts a game, averaging, as we said earlier, about 4 points a night. And if you're wondering, what are the per 36 numbers? Again, it would only make him like an 11-point per game scorer, about 4 rebounds a night, 1.5 assists. And Caleb Houstan fitting into this rotation, I wonder if this is going to be a partially or a non-guaranteed deal, or if it's fully guaranteed due to the fact that it's a 1-year deal. I think it's a perfect fit for a team that needs someone he's a combo forward who's 6'8" with a near 7-foot wingspan. He competes on both ends of the floor, but the big thing in him is he can shoot over anybody. He's got that movement, off-ball shooting ability, and I think he brings some decent energy. And if we're going to talk Atlanta Hawks rotation right now, is that I think they've done a good job putting together the expected squads or the expected depth chart where we talked about this Trae Young, I almost said Dyson Daniels, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Jalen Johnson, Kristaps Porzingis, Onyeka Okongwu. They have Mo Gay, Zachary Risache, Luke Kennard, Vit Krejci, Kobe Buffkin, Nikola Drusic, now Caleb Houstan, Asa Newell. They have Ely. Is it Eli or Ely? It's Eli, right? And Jacob Toppin was there. So they're starting to round out their bench with Nikola Drusic and Caleb Houstan, Asa Newell. Jesus Christ, couldn't speak right there. Asa Newell. Guys, I'm butchering everything today. And so Buffkin, Newell, Nikola, Caleb round out the 14th spot. And if they keep Eli and Jacob Toppin, which those are going to be their two ways, they have maybe one more roster spot that they could fill. I wonder who they'll be, but I actually really like that. Getting themselves a guy in Caleb Houstan, which is a sneaky. He's really good behind Jalen Johnson and Zachary Risache. Caleb Houstan being like the third forward there. You guys want to hear something really embarrassing? I got really drunk the other night at Las Vegas, and I bumped into Dyson Daniels and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Oh my God, made a fool of myself. Just don't even want to talk about it that much, but yeah. This is why we don't drink, kids. Either way. And so, to me, I think having guys where you have a 24-point per game scorer in Trae Young, a 14-point per game scorer, and Dyson Daniels is a defensive dog, another 10-point per game scorer, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who can also be a secondary playmaker and a defender, 20 and 10 guy, Jalen Johnson, another 20 and 10 and rim protector, Kristaps Porzingis, 13 and 10 guy, in Onyeka Okongwu coming off the bench. Zachary Risache was averaging 18 points a night. Loved how he finished the years. Vit Krejci and is another person that I really like. Luke Kennard being a 10-point per game scorer who's an underrated secondary playmaker who can score, shoot threes at a high clip. This is a deep team that if you're not following along, I think you guys might be sleeping on the Atlanta Hawks. I've already said it, the Atlanta Hawks, maybe I'm a bit excited because I love Quinn Snyder, and I think Ansi Sala is doing a really good job here. I feel like they're also going to get Gary Payton II. I'm not going to... I just have this feeling that what a perfect guy he would be for this team, because they have technically one more roster spot to fill out, and one might say that could be a guard, because they technically have 3 ball-handling guards in Vit Krejci and Mr. Kobe Buffkin and Trae Young and Dyson Daniels, but with Mr. Gary Payton, you have another guard and a defensive guy. But not just that, I think having now Caleb Houstan right here, who, let's just bring back why Caleb fits here. You're taking us, first off, if it worst comes to worst, he's a reserve who plays 10 to 12 minutes a night like he did for the Orlando Magic, shoots the ball, shoots 3 threes a night, can rebound. But you're getting a guy who's still a promising shooter, who has the ability and willingness to fill a role and do a little bit of the little things that I think a team like the Hawks want, and leaves room for, hope that he's going to grow into a bigger role on this team. He's already shown that he's a floor spacing combo forward who can play the 4 or the 3. Yeah, hasn't had the most flashes, but I think he's shown that having 4 points, 4 rebounds, 4 points, 3 rebounds, just under an assist, and 12 minutes a night isn't terrible. It's actually decent. And he was one of those guys who, coming out, was playing with Kate Cunningham, Scotty Barnes, Jalen Duren, these other top recruits. So at 6'8", with like a 215 frame with a 7-foot wingspan, he's a combo forward who shown that he can be a floor spacer, who is able to set his feet, make shots, has a little bit of an off the dribble game where he can shoot, and he'll hit the open pass. He's able to cut, and he's able to defend. Like, he's disciplined, he's got decent technique. He's not going to be someone rangy, but his ability to catch and shoot is going to be valuable. And if there's injuries or something, he seems like he can really play the same roles as Zachary Risache or Jalen Johnson. And I really like that, is you don't have to score off the dribble, but he's able to do his things, which is being someone who can just catch and shoot, or just shoot off the dribble, and just being a tall guy who can be a floor spacer and defend. And he brings some decent, energy on that side. He's long, he'll go over screens, and he doesn't get beat all the time as someone would think. I mean, he's someone that when he closes out on shooters, he's someone who doesn't get blown by regularly. And really the whole thing about him is why is he had more opportunity? He was buried on a team that had multiple players that were ahead of him. Jonathan Isaac, Franz Wagner, just to mention a few. And he just wasn't getting an opportunity to play there because he was a second round pick. So he's someone who could really just pop. Again, he's also, might not make the roster, but I do think he's a player that worth the swing. It's a good pickup by Ansi Sala. And I think he's someone that's showing organizationally, he's just got a really good eye for talent. I really like this. And I think the reason why we haven't gotten technically a formal president is they've been really blown away by Ansi Sala. By the way, Ansi Sala is 6'4". I walked by him the other day. Big dude. Really, really was surprised how tall he was. So I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you want to hear? And let me know. Peace.